Okay, 2015, let's see what you got. At the start of any given year, it seems like pretty much everybody puts out some sort of video, blog, what have you, about their most anticipated whatever, movies, video games, comic books, etc. for the new year. So I thought I would throw together my most anticipated movies of 2015. My intention had been for this to be a top 10 list, but something funny kind of happened. When I actually looked at the full list of all the movies coming out this year, I couldn't actually come up with 10 that I was truly, genuinely excited about. I could have bulked it out to 10 easily enough, cherry-picked a few of the ones that I'm hopeful for but not actually genuinely excited about yet, and stuck them in there just to get to that magical 10 number. But you know what? I've got more integrity than that. So I decided to only put the movies on this list that I genuinely am excited for. Now, there are movies that I'm not going to talk about that I do plan to see and I hope will be good. The Kingsman, Terminator Genesis, Tomorrowland, movies like that are ones that I do hope to see and that I do hope will be good, and I've even got a glimmer to believe that they will be good. But those movies and others like them, there either is some reason for me to question that it may not be good. Maybe there's a bad history to this franchise. In other cases, I'm just really hopeful, but I don't have a lot of concrete stuff to go, that's why I know it's going to be awesome. And that's where stuff like Tomorrowland falls in. So, limiting myself to the ones that I am truly, genuinely pumped about, I've got 6. Starting with Chappie. Latest film from Neil Blomkamp. This one sells me pretty much on premise and trailer. I thought the trailers that have come out so far are really interesting and really engaging. Looks like there's some good angles going on there, and I like stories of things sort of coming into their own and coming to a new level of consciousness, and you get that with a good sort of robot learning more about the world and about itself type story. The effects look great. I'm sure there's going to be plenty of action in it. I'm not actually as big a fan of Neil Blomkamp as it seems like a lot of people are. District 9 was good. It was fine. I think it was overhyped slightly. I mean, the guy's reliable, and he's choosing to play in a sandbox that I like a lot. So yeah, I'm going to see that. Number 5, Mad Max Fury Road. This is one that I was pretty much sold completely on the strength of the trailers that have come out, because I'm not a huge Mad Max fan. I've seen bits and pieces of the various movies. I've seen most of Road Warrior. I always kind of liked the notion of it, but it never hooked me for some reason. But these trailers and the action that we're seeing and how much of it was clearly done practically, and they shot on location in a desert, and just George Miller's eye and the way some of these images are composed, and then just the raw energy that is in these trailers. I just think this is gonna be an absolute blast. But you know what? Sometimes I just want a really kick-ass ride, and I think that is exactly what Mad Max is gonna give me. My 4th most anticipated, Shaun the Sheep. Yes, animated kids movie, animation junkie, remember? And I, of course, love Wallace and Gromit. I love all the work that Aardman Studios has pretty much ever done. So, I mean, just the name Aardman alone sells me on the notion of at least giving this a shot. But Shaun the Sheep is a great character, and it's a great world. And what I'm most fascinated about, it does look like from the trailers that have been shown so far that they're sticking to the heart of the original show, which is that Shaun the Sheep doesn't speak. He baws from time to time. You know, the animals, they make their noises. The farmer kind of goes, every now and then. But by and large, it's gonna play a bit like a silent film. There's not gonna be dialogue. There's not gonna be talking animals. And if anybody can pull off 90 minutes of no talking, but you are riveted to the screen with wonderful characters and terrific whimsy and just great fun, Aardman can do it. Number 3, Star Wars: The Force Awakens. Everyone seems to have put Star Wars at the top of their most anticipated list. I'm still just too jaded from how much crap as a Star Wars fan I've taken up to this point. And though I like J.J. Abrams and I like what he does for the most part, I don't have enough faith to put this at the top. That said, I'm still excited for this. That first trailer did a lot to sort of waylay many of my fears. It didn't necessarily get me more pumped than I already was just for the notion of a new Star Wars movie, but it certainly gave me the reassurance that it was not going to be making so many of the mistakes that the prequels made. I mean, just visually, it's so uncluttered, it's so clean, it felt like original Star Wars. It didn't feel like the prequels, and that alone was just a huge relief. And I just hope they can pull this off. Number 2, Spectre. I love me some James Bond, and Skyfall was amazing. And one of the biggest promises of Skyfall was that it basically ended setting up Bond in the form that we knew him for the longest. It sets up the Moneypenny and M and that Office and all that sort of classic stuff from the sort of Sean Connery era of James Bond. And so now that we're gonna get Spectre back and Sam Mendes is coming back to direct it again and Daniel Craig is still on board, I could not be more excited for this movie. There is one more I am slightly more pumped for though, and I think you all know what it is. Avengers: Age of Ultron. Not a huge surprise that this is occupying the top spot, although honestly, that first teaser trailer with the use of I've Got No Strings, that is probably what put it up over the top. The use of that song and that tone and how many times I watched and rewatched and rewatched that trailer. If it hadn't been for that masterful bit of teasing, Spectre might have beat it out for the top spot, but there it is, Avengers, right where it belongs. The movie that I am most excited about seeing in 2015. So I wasn't able to come up with a top 10. That is kind of an indication that maybe 2015 not going to be as good a year as 2014. There were a lot of good movies in 2014 for my way of thinking. But you know what? The fact that I have fewer movies that I'm all that excited about gives 2015 more room to surprise me. And one of my favorite things is to be surprised. So you know what? Gauntlet is thrown down 2015. Let's see you pick it up and beat me with it. What about you? What are your most anticipated movies for this year? Whatever they are, drop something down in the comments. Let's talk about it. Until next time, this council is adjourned.